Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, and the Barbie movie that's currently out in theaters is causing more controversy. And no, I'm not talking about the mini feud that's erupted between Michael Knowles and Ben Shapiro as to whether the movie's any good. I'm talking about, if you can believe it, a geopolitical controversy. There is a growing list of nations that are outright banning the film. A Kuwaiti committee on cinematic censorship has officially banned Barbie for promoting, quote, ideas and beliefs that are alien to the Kuwaiti society and public order. Now, according to the committee, foreign movies that run counter to Kuwait's public ethics often have individual scenes censored. But movies that carry, quote, alien concepts, message, or unacceptable behavior are fully banned. Now, at issue is not so much the content of the movie per se, but more those involved in the making of the film. Although the movie itself has no explicit LGBT themes or alternative lifestyle advocacy, at least that's what I'm reading. I haven't seen the film myself, but though there's supposedly no explicit content promoting LGBT issues, there are apparently actors in the film that are openly gay, transgender, and the like, and that appears to have been enough for the Kuwaiti government to ban it. And Kuwait is not alone. Lebanon is also banning the film. Lebanon's culture minister has accused the film of promoting homosexuality, as well as ridiculing the role of mothers, as well as the sanctity of marriage. And it will therefore not be shown in the nation's theaters. Now, this, of course, is not the first time Middle Eastern nations have banned films because of LGBT issues. The most recent was Disney's Lightyear that got a ban from theaters all across the Middle East for featuring a lesbian kiss. But there is something about Barbie that seems to be striking quite the chord among international theaters. Both Vietnam and the Philippines are banning the film as well, but for very different reasons. The root of this issue lies in a seemingly innocent scene, one that features a map portrayed with a U-shaped dotted line. It's technically known as the 9-dash line map. And the problem here is that this is a border that's under significant dispute in the South China Sea. The border represents China's assertion that a significant portion of the territory of the South China Sea belongs to China, a claim that obviously many of its neighboring countries strongly contest, citing threats to their sovereignty. And so the issue is hardly trivial. I mean, Vietnam fought several bloody battles against China in the South China Sea in 1974 and 1988. Just a couple of 2 decades later, so both Malaysia and Vietnam filed a joint submission to the UN Commission in 2009 challenging China's claims over the territory. And so both Singapore and the Philippines are accusing Disney of pushing pro-China propaganda and have banned the film. Actually, as I understand it, the Philippines are still showing the film, but they've actually blurred out the map from the scene. So that's the geopolitics of Barbie, the geopolitical controversies plaguing this film. But it really is the LGBT issues that I think are more global in scale. What Lebanon and Kuwait are doing is actually very much reflective of a very real trend that's happening all around the world, where populations are increasingly returning to a far more conservative, traditionalist morality. You're not going to want to miss this. But first, gang, how many UFC fans do we got out there? We know the one and only Donald Trump is a huge UFC fan, as are the fighters of him. But have you ever wondered what they do to manage their pain? Well, you don't have to, because a fellow patriot and a good friend to this channel is precisely the one who provides relief to that pain, and he's here to do the same for you. We all know that as we age, aches and pains are normal, but they don't have to be. And that's where the groundbreaking medical scientist Clint Winters comes in. Now, you've seen Clint on Fox. You've seen him on this channel. He's a world-renowned health expert who's unveiled a natural pain reliever that's taking the world by storm. It's called CB2. It's the 100% drug-free way to get full-body pain relief without dangerous meds. And it's the official pain reliever for the fighters in the UFC. And the best news, CB2 has no documented side effects whatsoever after years of private testing. It's absolutely the future of pain relief. So whatever you do, Make sure to click on that link below and check out Clint's amazingly informative report on how Cono CB2 is changing lives by providing safe and powerful relief at a fraction of the cost of pain pills. Click on that link below right now. The nation of Ghana is the latest country to pass stringent anti-LGBT legislation that's part of a significant reversal in what were global trends towards liberalizing LGBT attitudes. Ghana, of course, follows the Ugandan parliament, which recently overwhelmingly passed a bill that in effect bans LGBT identity politics from their nation, as well as imposes several severe punishments for violations related to same-sex relations. The World Bank is actually sanctioning Uganda for the passage of such a law, saying it violates their policies of promoting inclusivity and diversity. And Uganda's responded by basically telling the World Bank to shove it. They've doubled down on the law, as have more than 30 African nations, which currently ban same-sex relations. And just last week, the nation of Iraq officially banned their news media from actually using the term homosexual. The media from now on are required to use the term, I kid you not, quote, sexual deviant. Just this past June, the Washington Post ran a story on what they called a significant rollback of LGBT rights all over the globe. In fact, here at home, there's been a torrent of what they're calling anti-trans laws passed throughout the red states, with even some supermajority Republican legislatures overriding their Democrat governor's veto, like in Kentucky and Kansas. The radical leftist ACLU has tracked over 500 of what they call anti-LGBT bills across the country. Far from becoming more liberal, more progressive, the world is actually going back. It's returning to a far more conservative, more traditionalist moral sentiment that's reflected in the legislative patterns to reverse course on LGBT issues. And this is all part of this massive worldwide backlash against globalism. And that's because globalism entails what's technically known as emancipatory politics. And emancipatory politics is a globalist-inspired idea that re-envisions the state as a grand liberator of identities who are considered to have been otherwise oppressed or disenfranchised from the political process. So what emancipatory politics does is it views societies and races and genders and sexualities in light of power discrepancies, where a dominant identity or culture that's usually designated white and male and heterosexual discriminates against minority identities and cultures. And the key here is that this is forever the permanent state of society unless or until cultural Marxist liberals come to power. So emancipatory politics is a globalist ideology that re-envisions the state as a grand liberator of individuals from traditions and customs that are now deemed oppressive and discriminatory. And so with globalism waning around the world, including here in the United States, we're seeing emancipatory politics increasingly replaced by what's called restoration politics. And restoration politics is all about implementing re-traditionalized policies in every sphere of life. And so to close the loop here, this is what the Barbie movie is bumping into. It's not just geopolitical controversies in the South China Sea. It's the rising dynamic of things like restoration politics that promise that the troubles besetting liberal, progressive Hollywood are just getting started. Are you ready to join the resistance? Because I'm leading a group of dedicated, courageous patriots who can lead a spearhead into the heart of the secular globalist establishment. We punished Bud Light and Target, driven CNN and the legacy media to near bankruptcy, forced BlackRock to backtrack on ESG, and now we're seeing our conservative-dominated Supreme Court ending affirmative action and protecting religious liberty. In my Insiders Club, I show you concrete steps to take locally and online that will only keep this mass uprising going until the battle is won. Don't wait. Click the link in my description below and join my Courageous Patriots Insiders Club today.